Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. I of course am just another heavy metal maniac, and today I am doing an album review. Today I'm going to be discussing the latest offering from Funeral entitled Gospel of Bones. So this is the 7th studio album from these Norwegian doom metal veterans. Their debut album Tragedies, which was released back in 1995, is a classic in the funeral doom genre. It's one of the formative releases in that genre in my eyes. Like it's right up there with like Stormcrow Fleet by Skepticism or Forgotten's debut in terms of how important that album was in shaping the funeral doom genre. I would say it's their only funeral doom release. This band definitely kind of got out of that, even on their second album, In Fields of Pestilential Grief, which is not really a funeral doom album. It's more or less just kind of like a gothic doom metal album, but it's still really good. And I honestly like everything this band has done pretty much up to this point. So yeah, about this album, like I said, this is the 7th studio album by this band, and I was eagerly anticipating this release because I do really enjoy this band, and yeah, this album, to put it bluntly, is pretty good in my opinion. I do really enjoy this album. This is just very kind of slow, very melancholic doom metal. It's very somber, it's very sorrowful. It's very riff-driven, which obviously most doom metal is very riff-driven. I do really like the production of this album. It's very heavy-sounding album. Like, Funeral's always been really good about having like really heavy guitar tones and stuff, and on this album I think the guitars sound absolutely wonderful. The drums are very nice and punchy. The vocals on this album, so they're very dramatic, very kind of operatic. There's like some kind of classical influence on this album, definitely. I like the vocal stylings quite a lot. Like I said, they're very kind of dramatic, they're very operatic. It almost feels like kind of a doom metal opera at points, which I feel like is just honestly really cool. And there's some really awesome songs on here, like the song Yestertear, which is kind of a cool play on like the Yesteryear. Yestertear is a really cool song. I really like Procession of Misery. That's one of my favorite tracks on here. These Rusty Nails is a really good song. I like My Own Grave quite a lot. That's maybe my favorite song here, My Own Grave. I don't know, I just really like that song. And there is only one song title in here that's in Norwegian, Nar Kisten Sankes. I'm sorry, I know I probably butchered that. But according to Google Translate, that Nar Kisten Sankes translates to When the Coffin is Lowered, and that's also a really good song. In terms of any negatives I have about this album, or anything that I don't like about this album, I would say that the vocals are very upfront in the mix, and they kind of overpower the instrumentation at points, which usually I'm not a big fan of, like that kind of style of production. Like, I like everything to be, you know, balanced and even, obviously, but especially when vocals are too high in the mix, that really kind of annoys me. So yeah, the vocals are very upfront in the mix, but it doesn't like outright ruin like my enjoyment of this album. Like, I can look past it, and this album still got, you know, great riffs. It's just sometimes the vocals can be very high in the mix. But overall, I do really enjoy this album. This is a great album. I'll say that if you were a fan of Funeral, like, before this album, you're still gonna like this album. Like, if you like, you know, In Fields of Pestilential Grief and From These Wounds and all these kind of the more gothic doom stuff from this band, you're gonna enjoy this album. If you've only ever heard the debut by this band, Tragedies, and you have not heard anything else by this band, do not expect this to be funeral doom. This is not like even death doom. There are no death growls on this album. This is just a gothic doom metal album. So yeah, if you've only heard Tragedies by this band, you haven't heard anything else, be warned, it is a bit different. But yeah, overall, I would say if you're a fan of like maybe My Dying Bride, Catatonia, I'd say maybe Paradise Lost as well, just again, kind of without the death growls. Check out this album. You'll probably really enjoy it. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it like I don't know, like maybe a 3.5 out of 5, leaning kind of close to a 4 out of 5. Overall, I do really enjoy this album. I love all the riffs. Yeah, I just like the very melancholic, sad vibe of this album. I mentioned in my previous review of Jerry Cantrell's new album that it's forecast saying it's raining all week, and you guys can't see it, but it is raining outside, so this album just is kind of a perfect listening for when you're stuck inside and it's raining. So yeah, that concludes my review of Funeral's Gospel of Bones. If you enjoyed this video, do consider leaving a like on it. If you leave a comment down below, tell me what you think about this new album. Let me know in the comments down below. Do consider subscribing as well, because I do have a lot more content coming your way. And that about does it. I'm just another Heavy Metal Maniac. I'll see you all sometime in the future. In the meantime, all of you take care and have a great day. So long.